defenses, putting their zone on, and kind of taking away some of the things that how we want to score, certainly in player to player. Our first half, we got a little tight there when we were getting scores, and they were kind of weird scores for us, and I was like, ooh, I'm not sure about this. It wasn't the execution that we're used to. And then here comes Bryant making that big run in the second half. Just really proud of how our players stuck with the game plan. We made some adjustments at halftime. They bought into that. They did a great job. We executed offensively. We were having a hard time against their zone, kind of running some quick hits, really not moving the ball side to side, and then we really started going side to side, getting those high percentage shots for Helly and Kayla, and credit a really unselfish team for getting them the scores that they needed to in positions where they're really successful, high percentage shots in the paint, and we did a really good job on the boards. Defensively picking it up, only giving up 9 points in the third and fourth quarter. Really happy with that. Again, still focusing on taking care of the ball, those 10 turnovers, and a lot of them were just thread the needle passes that we're going to clean up, and playing for 40 minutes. But can't say enough about how unselfish this group is. The play of Helene and Kayla is unbelievable, and this team continues to impress me, and they get better every game.
Mark, take it away.
Coach, you were clearly visibly bothered by the way you guys were playing, and you took a time out at 1 minute. You're 1 minute and 13 seconds left. Usually most coaches will say run out. I'm going to ask, what did you say to him either then, or what did you say to him at halftime that you can't change the game?
In the timeout, I needed to stop the clock. There was still 1:30, which, usually, in those cases, I don't usually take a timeout because I knew it was going to be a tough game because Bryant has taken everybody, down to the wire. And you want to save your timeout, certainly, with the ability to advance the ball. But I said, we got to pick it up. We've got to finish the half feeling good about going into the locker room. I think we turned it over after that, so obviously it was a great timeout. It was effective. I wanted to be able to get my team fired up. I wanted them to be fired up on the defensive end. I wanted them to be fired up. I wanted them to have some energy going into the halftime. And then at halftime, I just told them, relax, we're okay. Trust yourselves, trust each other. We're going to be okay. I didn't need to motivate them. I said, but we need to play for 20 minutes. And now we know that they're tough, they're scrappy. They can't be beating us to 50-50 balls anymore. We've got to outplay them in that way, which we did. We started getting really good defensive boards, diving on loose balls, coming up with those 50-50 plays. And then I'm like, let's just settle into our offense. We don't have to get tight. Just settle in, move the ball. And then we made some significant adjustments at the half with how we were defending number 5. I think we were getting some of their guards too open with how we were going into double. We were coming in from the strong side, trying to rotate. Too many shooters open. So we changed it. We started doubling from the middle. And I think that was a nice adjustment. The players did a great job executing that. We had practiced kind of plan A and plan B. And just really proud of their execution on that.
Coach, we were given a stat at the start of this that this is the first time that all your players are eligible and all your players have played. Can you talk to how much does that help you knowing that you have a deep team in conference play? How much did that help you today?
It's unbelievable. Just, even when you bring Fatima Lee in and she comes in and she hits a 3 and you're just like, and her defense was better. Knowing now, this is where I was hopeful we would be in the non-conference, being able to, if it wasn't Ellen's day or Ellen wasn't getting the looks, they were locked in on her. They were defending her. They were limiting her touches everywhere, even in the zone. She only got 5 shots, and it wasn't her day to get those looks, but she did everything else on the defensive end. And then having Helly and Kayla, who we didn't have for a significant amount of time, to put up these numbers and make layups and high percentage shots, it just makes our team so dangerous because if somebody is having an off day, you have other people to step up. Not to mention the experience that Fatima got, that Freya got, that Tanaya got, that Abby Ray got when our players were out. So when they do go in, they feel comfortable with that game experience. And I just love this team, and I'm so proud of them.
Coach, I heard you say in the post game that it wasn't the prettiest game. It rarely is in this conference. But how important was it to see your players rally the way they did and fend off a scrappy team that on paper, if you just look at the records, you guys should be blowing out. So how important was it just to see them, finish the way they did and fend them off?
Yeah, really impressed. And, you know, although Bryant was coming into the game 0-4 in the conference, they took they had played the top of the league, so they had played the UMBC, they played Vermont, they played Maine, played everybody really, really strong. And, you know, knowing that they were close games. I mean, they lost, and Binghamton, they lost 3 of those games very close. Maine ended up pushing it kind of at the end. You know, I knew it was going to be a battle, and I just kept saying every time out, don't get comfortable. When we push the lead, don't get comfortable. They're not going away. And, you know, they didn't. They put their foot on the pedal. We executed down the stretch. We had good clock management. They executed some huge plays. I called a play. Helly hit that 3. Perfect execution of the play. And, you know, I was just like, you know, that's not coaching. That's just players making plays. And I give all the credit to them.
You had said in previous thing that you weren't a third quarter team, but here for the second game in a row, the third quarter really made a difference. What do you attribute that to?
I think they were really focused. I think, you know, we really focused in practice. We talked about playing for 4 quarters. We talked about having a great start. The last 2 games we didn't feel really great about our start, but we've continually talked about our third quarter. And I think, you know, it's hard because every game is so, our league is so competitive that every game, even when you're looking at a team that says 0-4, you know, and then all of a sudden they're playing, they're like, wow, this team's really good, coach is right, you know. But I think it's just our experience, the veteran group, their commitment to each other, and they want to win. And they knew they needed to dig in, and Kayla stepped up and getting rebounds. Helene was playing hurt. She kind of got hurt in the first half, and she fought through for her teammates, and certainly calling on their experience, their age, being a championship team. They were able to maintain their composure, not look frazzled, and execute in that third quarter.
Hey, Coach, you're 4-0 in the conference, so you're gonna get everybody's best shot. 5-0.
5-0.
That's what. My apologies.
It's okay. I just like the sound of that.
So, with that being said, you're gonna get everybody's best shot being the champs. But also now you're undefeated. So every team is not only looking to knock the champs off, they're looking to give you an L. How much does that sit in your brain, or how much do you try to defer your team from that? Because they're still kids at heart, and they're still competitive. So you know that they're going to want to stay the way that they're staying. Is it a concern? Is it a good thing, like a motivation thing? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, you know, that they really do want to go undefeated. They really do want to beat everybody, but they do know that they have to make it happen. It's not just going to happen because we got picked first, because we have everybody back, because we won a championship last year. They do know they have to prepare. We have to go practice to practice, game by game. But at the end of the day, you know, I think the biggest thing is just them understanding what their ultimate goals are is to win a championship. And if they continue to just buy into our goals, our game goals, practicing hard, playing together, they don't need to get caught up in the record. Because at the end of the day, like, you know, we are going to continue to get people's best games. It is kind of nice to be able to now be slightly the underdog. You know, people are underestimating us based on our record. You know, they're like, oh, you know, they were 10-8 or 11-8, and you know, that doesn't look like that. You know, it's not intimidating. You know, it's not like we were before when we were 14-4 going into the league, or you know, whatever we were. So now we get to have that underdog mentality, and we get to go back to just doing our thing, playing UA basketball, focusing on our defense, and letting the rest kind of fall into place.
Sean?
With respect to Bryant, they have a good veteran coach. I know you're a very humble coach at heart, but can you talk about the chess match between the 2 coaches? Because it seemed like she was giving you her best shot with her play calling, and you kept continuing to figure it out. I know sometimes we give a lot of attention to the players, and rightfully so, but I felt like this was a good chess match between coaches.
Yeah, she's a very good coach. She's been coaching since, you know, she recruited me when I was in high school, and she's very well respected. She's won at all levels. They were a very prominent team at the Division II level. She's seen it transfer to Division I into the America East. And she really understands X's and O's. She also has a terrific staff. Her assistant coaches, Marcus and John Parsons, I know all of them very well. And they are strategy people, and they had a big strategy. There was many sets I tried to call that were extremely scouted that I couldn't go back to because they had them locked down. But again, you know, when it comes down to our team, and I truly feel like I can call any play, and you know, it comes down to the players executing it and the players making plays. And our players today made more plays. And she did a great job coaching. She had some great calls. They had some great plays where they slipped on us or, you know, caught us sleeping. And that's okay. For me, did we box out? Did we hustle? Did we dive for loose balls? Did we do all the controllables? And then on the offensive end, they're making plays. All the plays work. It doesn't matter if they're scouted or not. There's always a play and then the counter to the play. So, you know, if you're coming off a flare, if the flare's not open, then maybe they're hedging and they're slipping. Or they switch and you can go high-low and have a mismatch. And today, you know, the players made plays, and I really have to. I appreciate that. That's really nice. But, like, I just feel like if I didn't have these players, you know, I could coach and I could make plays, and I could try to put people in a position to be successful. They still have to put the ball in the basket, and luckily they did that today. And Kayla and Helene were unstoppable.
Yeah, Coach, if you could kind of elaborate on that. Obviously, we'd like to see a little bit more balanced scoring, but
Yes.
Where does this rank as best, maybe 1-2 punches that you've seen in your time here?
Yeah, I mean, they just were. It was kind of like just the face of the game. You know, it was where the openings were in the zone, and we were getting touches really in that sweet spot for how our players like to score. Kayla and Helly, and Kayla was getting some nice second chance opportunities. Helly was crashing the boards and rebounding like I haven't seen her do in a very long time. But gives credit to the players. They're feeding them. You know, Ellen's trying to look for them. Morgan's feeding the players. You know, Helly and Kayla those shots. And I thought Morgan had some huge 2 back-to-back baskets that were huge, kind of when they turned back and they went into their man-to-man. I thought she had a really nice fourth quarter for us. But yeah, I mean, usually you're looking across and you're seeing 12, 10, you know, 12. Just wasn't the way the game went today. And credit the team for being that unselfish and not sacrificing their personal glory, because they focus on winning above all else. And that's why we're a dangerous team.